Hey everyone. You know, with the new Spider-Verse movie
already out for several months,
I thought this would be a perfect opportunity to take a look back at an old video of mine and revisit an old format to look at some Spider-Man media. Sadly, Steve is no longer with us anymore. He died in an explosion. But that doesn't mean that we can't do a great video in his honor.
Hey, Andy.
Welcome home.
This is your home.
Oh, how right you are. What are you doing here?
You invited me over, and then I found you asleep at your desk with the tab for dementia open on Wikipedia. All the links were purple. You don't remember this?
Nah, not ringing a bell. Hey, what are you doing here anyway? I thought you died.
Who told you that?
I mean, nobody told me, and I just thought it'd be more interesting.
So, that's what we're doing, just rehashing old ideas, pretending like they're new.
Yeah.
Pizza time.
pizza time, pizza time, pizza time, pizza time. Pizza time.
Welcome to hell! I mean, so good to see you again, Steve. How you been? So we watched some movies, I think. We're just gonna kind of talk about them. We've got our notes right here. This isn't normally how these things go, but I'm trying to make it a bit more structured than last time, where if memory serves, we just kind of got drunk.
Yes, we can pay attention to the movie more. That's the pay attention to the movie juice.
Yeah. So, welcome to Too Many Spider-Man 2. Steve, would you like to reflect on any of your experiences with the original Too Many Spider-Man video?
I can't remember them.
We had a lot of fun doing that, so we're back to do it again with material that is better than what we watched before, but that doesn't mean it was good.
Oh yeah! Where's Venom?
What did we watch, or what did we watch first?
We watched the 2018 powerhouse known as Venom.
Really? It came out in 2018.
It came out in 2018, year of our Lord.
I thought it was much earlier than that. Maybe because it feels like it came out in 1999.
It feels like a movie from 2008.
You know what it feels like? It feels like Ghost Rider.
I'm glad you bring up Ghost Rider. It's actually a weird inverse, where like the first Ghost Rider was more entertaining than the second one, but they tried way harder with the second one, with the stunt work and stuff.
Yeah, didn't they get the like Crash guys, or Crank, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Crash is, they got the Crash guys to do it. It became a weird like race allegory.
Yeah, they got Don Cheadle to play Ghost Rider. Dude, things happen. Like it's almost compelling with the like Eddie's like character development, where like
where he gets brain damage.
Yeah, he gets brain babbage.
Yes.
You have a brain tumor, Eddie.
Kind of feel a little bit bad for him, like when like his entire life falls apart, and then like anytime anything remotely interesting happens with that, it cuts over to a guy that looks like Abed ran into John Stamos, and his weird, boring sociopath science.
Trees, bring me back my creature.
I had to look up who directed the first Venom. And who the fuck directed the first Venom? I know that
it's the Zombieland guy.
Yeah. What's his fucking name? Ruben Fleshman.
Fleshman! There's no need to feel sass, I said, Fleshman! Stick your hand in my ass, I said, Fleshman!
He directs like mostly like TV shows, and he directed that fucking other Nothing Burger movie with the fucking Ryan Reynolds and The Rock. Like that movie that plays in like the background of like other movies.
I don't know which one.
Red Notice?
Red Notice. Oh, he did that?
I think he did that.
Oh God! See, that's why I didn't recognize. I totally forgot that movie existed already.
No one knows what it's like.
These movies start with like the classic Marvel logo with all the pages flipping, and then it says "in association with," and I'm like, oh yeah, some rights were held hostage.
They wanted to make it very clear from the get-go that these things are not affiliated with the MCU in any way, shape, or form.
Until it is affiliated with the MCU in a shape or form, and until it immediately isn't.
All right, tell me again. I'm sorry. I'm an idiot.
Although the Eternals had to deal with betrayals and casualties, they did prevent the Celestial from emerging.
Tons of super people.
Cersei, Kingo, Phastos, and a now human sprite decide to remain on Earth. But their ancient boss, Arishem the Judge, has other plans. He yanks 3 of the Eternals.
Just the way that they set up something that in its totality was maybe about like less than 20 minutes of effect. It didn't even affect the movie that it was setting up. Like that, it just showed up at the end. It's like, oh yeah, fuck, we did that. Oh, it's like remembering you had a kid in the 90s and he's like coming by being like, I'm your son now. Literally, this is one of those things where if I were just a little bit younger, like when this movie came out, I probably would have felt betrayed by this movie.
Betrayal! What? Betrayal!
But by the time I saw it, I had already come to grips with Venom's kind of a dumb character. Like, why would you don't need to make a movie about him, really. Or if you do, you could at least do that fucking comic that's like basically The Thing, where it's just in the Arctic hopping from like that. Do a horror movie with it. Like, do something like that.
Well, he did hop from person to person in the second one.
What in the world? All this crazy shit.
That is never remarked again.
It was the stupidest shit.
Venom?
I'm having trouble keeping them standing, sissy. I knew someone normal. I'm not letting it ride this time.
It hops from like Malaysian lady to other lady to a little girl in an airport. And then the TSA just fucking lets the little girl by herself fly all the way to America.
Well, you brought that up, and when I was watching, I noticed she's actually walking out with her parents.
Oh, okay.
But that makes it worse, because that means her parents at a certain point notice their child just stopped talking and being communicative at all. It reminds me of, there is, in Dark Tower, another video I have, plug.
I do not kill with my gun. I kill with my...
In the Dark Tower, there's a part where Matthew McConaughey walks past like a little girl who's talking to her mom, and he just goes, hate.
And I got water in my nose, and I went down and I couldn't see anything.
Hate. Yeah. Sweetheart?
Honestly, if Matthew McConaughey had been Venom, not Venom,
Carnage.
if Matthew McConaughey had been Carnage, that still probably wouldn't have made any sense.
No.
But I'm just casting exclusively from people who are in True Detective. Vince Vaughn should have been Carnage. The Venom story they're taking, like, inspiration from, you could do something with that, because basically they kidnap Venom and they extract like 5 seeds from the symbiote, and that's how you get like all the other ones that like Riot, Lasher, like you kind of see them in the movie, like one's yellow, but that doesn't fucking mean anything, they all die. There's a part where they come back after my favorite character, Dora Skirth. I don't think this is a character from the comics from what I could tell. They're just like, we need a name, Dora Skirth. Yeah, sure, that sounds like a name and not a curse. You just walk into the woods, someone's like, Dora Skirth, and then a year later, your kid's born with like 3 arms or some shit.
3 Doras.
You just give birth to like a Serbius Dora. They just come back and like she's dead and the symbiote's dead and Elon Musk is just like, the villain's Elon Musk, by the way.
They should be able to survive here, but also we would be able to survive there.
SpaceX is an astonishing achievement, but you've also got your plans for Mars? Think about the future as just...
Begin human trials.
Oh, it's
Dr. Skirth, you're at the forefront of a scientific breakthrough. I need you to hold your nerve.
Elon Musk's brain implant company Neuralink said on Thursday it had been given a green light from the US FDA to kickstart its first-in-human clinical study.
Elon Musk is just like, how did this happen? Who took their eyes off? It's like, you just left it in a room with her. Like, I couldn't tell if that was just him being a dick and being like, obviously I did this, but I need to look like blah, 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 blah. I gotta say, everything with the people who work at that place is great. I love when they unleash a monster upon a homeless person and it just rips him apart and everyone's reaction is...
Repeat.
Of the Daily Globe incident.
Ow. Really? Incident? Mm-hmm. It's not an incident. You have a brain tumor.
The best way I could describe it is he sounds like he's a kid who's parents are asleep and he's not supposed to be awake, so he has to talk like really sort of quietly, and also he's from Boston and space.
And he's making YouTube videos, like Minecraft Let's Plays.
Oh yeah, actually I have a note that his show, in the beginning, he does the edit I do where I just start layering my voice over top of each other.
Chasing a lead. Everybody knows that Silicon Valley overlords at Google, Last Facebook, time I was poking nobody really knows on yourself anymore.
But then the hobo lady from earlier, who tries to charge him like fucking $20 for a newspaper, for a free paper.
I think that's her racket. Also, she's right outside an ISIS recruitment building.
Okay, it's like bulletproof fucking plexiglass that can withstand like punches from aliens, but it gets easily destroyed by a man swinging a fire extinguisher.
Maria? I don't know how.
I love everything about that scene, just like the way his brain just totally stops working. Whatever's functioning of his brain to begin with just stops working. He's just like, I don't know how to get you out of there, lady.
I don't know how.
He busts loose out of the facility.
Oh, he busts all right.
And
he busts the tree.
He swims across an entire like channel past the Zodiac killer. And then, like, I'm thinking to myself, because, like, the little girl who, like, is trying to transfer the symbiote, what if she fucking, like, it's like a 6-month time skip. It just takes that one creature. What did you say earlier?
It takes her 6 months to travel, to walk and get on planes and just walk some more to San Francisco to find a random guy and go, good enough.
Are you Lucy Lou?
Sure.
So this is a weird thing that I come up with these movies is I don't know which one I dislike least. I wouldn't say either of them are particular favorites, but I think there's a lot of stuff in the sequel that is an improvement on the original. And maybe that's just that, like, it's about, like, 15 minutes shorter.
The first one goes at a fucking snail's pace. Like, earlier I was like, oh yeah, like, something actually interesting happens, and then, like, cuts to John Stamos, Elon Musk.
It starts like 3 times.
Yeah.
Like, there's the initial start of the movie, which, like, we don't, like, it's the ship crashing, and we get introduced to Eddie, and then we get, like, Eddie's downfall, and then him moving to, like, moving out of his girlfriend's house, and, like, that's 6 months later. We could have just started at the 6-month time jump, maybe have the homeless lady in more than one scene before she gets kidnapped. Like, just so much about the movie feels like it was originally written to be like 3 hours long, which is ambitious for a Venom movie.
It was definitely written to be fucking rated R.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think Tom Hardy's like been upfront about that.
What was your favorite scene to film?
Well, there are scenes that aren't in this movie. There are like 30, 40 minutes worth of scenes that aren't in this movie.
What are your favorite ones?
Yeah, all of them, yeah.
There's stuff that just straight up isn't in this movie. Will you do the sequel? Absolutely.
For me,
that's what's in terms of you enjoyed filming them.
Doesn't mean that they were any good, is what you're saying. Is that what you're saying? They weren't no good?
Well, if they didn't make it into the film, it's probably they weren't any good, bro. I hate to break it to you. We all had a meeting and we watched it and we were like, Tom enjoyed making it so much, but it wasn't
As
what
like
you
the
thought
sound
it
of silence that plays on my face. Hello, darkness, my old friend.
I've come to talk with you again.
Thanks, bro.
I want to talk about Elon Musk villain some more.
Sure.
He suffers, I think, the most from the cutting of the movie, because, like, I remember, like, when he gets the Riot symbiote, he's just walking around. It doesn't explain why he's there or what he's doing. The scene where he's introduced is amazing. A little girl in a class raises her hand, doesn't even say anything, and everybody in the room just starts going, shh, and he goes, no.
It's okay, don't silence her.
We need people like this. We need people to speak up and stuff. And then he just keeps talking. And then she doesn't get to ask her fucking question, and then he just leaves abruptly.
Sorry to leave you, Allie, you're in charge. High five up top. Dr. Skirth will answer Allie's question and any others. See you next time, guys. Bye.
It's almost like it's written to be intentional. But then I don't think it is.
It has to be, because who would fucking shush a child when they're on like a school field trip and the guy was done talking?
I also just like that he's like, you're in charge. Yeah, high five. Bye now. And then he goes to go do an interview with Eddie, where Eddie's like, here's my plan. I'm just gonna say all the stuff that I like kind of stole from my girlfriend and maybe even potentially committed a crime. And I'm just gonna say that to you in the hopes that you'll just be like, oh, how'd you know?
You know, for a smart guy, you really are a dumbass.
For a smart guy, you're a dumbass.
I literally wrote that.
You know, for a smart guy.
Knock, knock, let the devil in.
And later he gets in a lobster tank. So I don't know. I don't even think that was a Venom thing. I think that was just something he already did. And Venom's like, I've searched into your brain. I know what you're into.
Fucking Sigma male Eddie just interrupts ex-girlfriend's date. And well, she got over him fast. Holy shit.
I like that her like boyfriend, fiance in the first movie seems just like a nice guy.
Yeah.
Like maybe too understanding at points. Like he's just like, I'm getting punched in the face and fucking aliens are spitting out of people. And he's just like, it's fine, just go home and rest. In the sequel, he's just there to watch his girlfriend just fucking flirt with aliens in front of him and periodically react but not do anything.
Venom even comments on that.
I like you. We totally didn't need him though. Honestly, I think he was more of a hindrance.
I'm not sure why we put you in the script still. In the second movie, he has one of my favorite moments. Towards the end of the second movie, everybody just starts doing one-liners that aren't good at all.
Yeah.
And his one-liner, his contribution to this is he finds out that sound and fire are the weaknesses of the symbiotes. So he starts just pouring fire on Carnage, like gas and like fire on Carnage. And it starts going, fire and sound, but without the sound.
Fire and sound, except without the sound.
The silence like plays on my face. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Thanks, bro.
Dan's such a fucking loser.
Literally, Calypso.
Calypso!
That's not, I didn't do that on purpose. I didn't intentionally call her the character that actress plays in fucking Pirates of the Caribbean.
But she's Voodoo Lady from Pirates of the Caribbean.
She's just playing the same fucking character.
I've got about full of crap.
Someone's like, I'm gonna kill you, and she's like,
Peeps have tried that already. Botched it.
And she doesn't talk like that at any other point in the movie.
Were they both supposed to be from like Louisiana or some shit?
I don't think, like...
I know you don't.
Yes. I don't think either of those people were from any geographical location that actually exists.
They can't take you from me. You're my one bright light.
One of the first things we see in the second movie is Cletus Cassidy as a young man with the voice of a 60-year-old man that only sometimes kind of matches up.
What did the doctor say?
I don't think anybody in these movies really does a particularly bad job, except maybe whoever had to excise like 45 minutes of each movie.
The younger version of Voodoo Lady in the second and Let There Be Cletus.
Oh, you mean Yoko Ono?
Yes.
You look so sad. I will sing you my happy song.
I thought that was terrible, but like everyone else like did a pretty good job.
Well, maybe that's why that scene is a grand total of like 5 seconds. We got set up why this guy has a hearing aid, and he too, as he gets older, becomes a British man failing to do an American accent at several points.
Keep me ahead of the curve, Eddie. Don't embarrass me. Do you understand?
Oh yes, Detective Joel Edgerton.
Yes.
Why don't I check in with Simon and maybe we can all eat together?
Oh, I don't want it.
If we could go back to the first movie, though, and talking about the villain of the first movie, do you think it's fucking hilarious that he sees these goo creatures, they come to him, and he has no information really about the planet they come from or anything of that nature, but he's just immediately like, maybe if we, like, fuck around with these, we could go to their planet. Like, for all he knows, it's just more goo. And based on the comics, I think it is just more goo. I think the planet's literally entirely symbiotes or something like that, which that would be fucking cool to see. Why do they keep setting these movies on Earth where it's just like, what if, like, Spider-Man was like...
He was schizophrenic and a cannibal.
Like he was kicked by a horse in the head, and also he had to eat people, and also Nikocado avocado.
I was asking myself the same thing, like why, what fucking place in this universe are they coming from? Because they never explain it. Oh, you can re-enter orbit, and then it immediately crashes. This good?
And also, they crash, and that John Jameson character isn't a werewolf, which shows you right away that this movie's fucking bullshit. I just love that whole opening to save time saves absolutely no time because the characters just gotta walk across fucking like the United States and Asia.
Couldn't have crashed any closer.
They couldn't just crash in San Francisco. Like, the first movie should be the one that's an hour and a half, and the second movie should be the one that's like an hour and 40-some minutes. There are some points in the second movie that you don't quite realize till the end, where you're just like, wait, what? When did Carnage decide that Venom was his father? They just started calling her Shriek. Like, nobody set that up. They just did it in one scene and then never did it again.
This is much worse than I thought. That is a red one.
Red one.
We should leave.
Why does it matter that Carnage is red? And I also like that Venom needs basically no convincing. He's like, no, I'm not gonna fight the red one. It's like, you can eat everybody except that guy, and maybe don't eat the cop. And I don't know that she's like, we should probably take her into custody or something, but you can at least eat that guy. And Venom's like, sure, the guy I didn't want to fight. I will fight now.
The major crux of the problems of these movies are, oh, the villain is like a dark reflection of me. Gee, where does that sound familiar? Maybe because Venom's a fucking bad version of Spider-Man. He doesn't even have the fucking spider powers.
I'm told that if they were to ever theoretically do a Morbius movie, that this would be what they would do in that as well. Thankfully, that never happened.
Would it be even worse in this hypothetical Morbius movie you're referring to? That Spider-Man was actually featured more in that movie than it is in the movie it's directly tied to. Thank God that never happened.
See, in this theoretical Morbius movie, I heard they would have done that, where they would have made Matt Smith, or anybody, an evil Morbius.
What?
It seems like when you take the villain out of the Spider-Man movie, you don't have a lot for them to do, or a rogues gallery for them to go up against. So they just kind of gotta fight an evil version of themselves. Or in a hypothetical Black Adam movie, which thankfully also was never made, they just fight the fucking devil.
Thank goodness, because who would even play Black Adam?
And there's no person alive.
Or maybe they could get that fella that plays the Flash.
Yeah, well, that'll be perfect. Excuse me as I readjust the camera. A cat just fucked up.
I think the reason the second movie even works as well as it does is because it doesn't have to worry about setup. Because the first movie took 40 fucking minutes to get to Venom, like Eddie being Venom.
That's why it reminded me of like Ghost Rider or shit like that. Those movies where it just takes a very long time for the hero to actually appear on screen. The Hulk movie.
And then the villain turns into a JPEG.
Oh yeah. That movie legitimately has one of my favorite villain moments where Nick Nolte just sits down and just does this. I don't think they gave him a script. I think like when he bit into that cord, he was just ad-libbing.
Well, he was supposed to show up for set that day. He just did that.
I was watching the first movie, and there was a part where they did like a needle drop for a song, and I'm like, oh, it's a Black Keys song. Jack White is angry if he watches this movie. And then in the second movie, at probably exactly the same point in the movie, I'm like, oh look, there's a Black Keys needle drop in this movie. Jack White must be angry. For those of you who don't know, Jack White really hates the Black Keys.
He hates them.
And I'm pretty sure he gets restraining order or something. They should have got Jack White to be Carnage.
They should get Jack White to be Morbius.
What did you do to yourself, Doctor?
I wish I knew.
I don't know that I actually... Some of these notes aren't worth revisiting. One of them just says slippery drift. Slippery drift. Slippery drift.
Yeah, guys, they got motorcycles.
At the end of Let There Be Cletus, they set up that, I think, that they're setting up there's another symbiote, because Hearing Aid Cop, in the comics, he's one of my favorite characters who has the symbiote. He's Toxin. And I guess they're kind of setting up that he's gonna become like a symbiote because his eyes glow, even though we never saw a symbiote get on him. And also he just goes, monsters. I don't know what that was about.
Monsters. He meant to say monsters.
He just wanted to go home and DVR the Monsters. Or watch that terrible Rob Zombie movie. But,
The what?
Oh, you didn't? The Rob Zombie made a Monsters movie on Netflix, and
how? When?
Like fairly recently, and it looks like it had the budget of about $5.
Oh, come on, you know, and I know that we gotta get rid of that bozo Herman Munster.
What they should do for a Venom 3 is stop with all this fucking shit. Like, I heard some people being like, oh, they'll bring in Toxin and they'll bring in Shriek. They already brought in Shriek. They can't have a character named Shriek and a character named Scream, who are both, like, tied to the symbiote shit. And I don't know how they could bring in Scream, because Scream was the yellow one.
You're dead, you're dead, you're dead.
Which I think is dead.
Stay dead, stay dead, stay dead.
Don't do any of that shit. Just go to the planet, because, like, some of the only cool Venom shit that they've done recently is, like, they've really delved into, like, the lore and the mythology of the planet.
Yeah.
And there's, like, a guy...
That guy kicks ass.
Looks like Matt Smith in House of the Dragon.
That guy kicks ass.
He has, like, a magic sword that he made from the void before time or something.
That guy kicks ass.
Yeah.
He's, like, the oldest living villain in all of existence. That guy kicks ass.
They even do some interesting shit with Carnage instead of what they do with him in these movies, where they fuck him up.
You are real.
I am.
You had one job.
Just the one. Most of my notes for the first movie are just that Eddie sounds like an alien, like even before he has an alien in him.
Aches and pains, you know, aches and pains.
Even at the point where he gets the alien out of him, he says one of my favorite lines in the whole movie, where he's just like, "You were killing me."
You were killing me?
God bless Tom Hardy, because I think he's a legitimately great choice for the role. But also at the same time, what the fuck is he doing? It's so fucking funny.
Buddy, what's happening in there?
In both of these movies, they have like this weird infatuation with making Anne a weird sexy lady Venom.
Yeah, that's from the comics. I really wish that ended how it did in the comics, where she was overcome with guilt and remorse and flung herself out of a window, and Venom just kind of had to live with that. This was one of the first comics I ever read. I was a kid.
You're dead, you're dead, you're dead.
Instead, she just bites the guy's head off and then is not fazed by it. Well, welcome to the writer's barely disguised fetish.
She's just like clearly turned on by the act of having bitten off someone's head.
She says, oh, that was Venom's idea, but what if it was, though?
I'm gonna give him a big old kiss. Hey, yo!
I love, at the end of the first movie, when they're gearing up to fight the villain. To set this up, there's some weird ADR that's very obvious.
Oh, I see. Right, when it comes to being completely annihilated, then it's back to we. Cut the bullshit. What really made you change your mind?
Motorcycles.
Slippery drift. And he goes to fight the villain and he's like,
Peter's got shit you will never see.
all of this is shit I've never seen. I hate him, man, Venom. And then his ship explodes because he's Elon Musk.
Yeah. He blows up in a rocket ship, in a SpaceX rocket ship, on way to install the first Dollar General on Mars.
And also Eddie Brock gets stabbed through the chest and entirely dies, and then Venom just brings him back to life, which makes me just wonder, it's like, it doesn't matter. Like, you could just be dead for a while. The original host for Scream, like, dies at some point, but the symbiote keeps, like, piloting her body, and, like, when it eventually does go to a new host, like, it's just, like, dust and bones, like, left over.
You see these bones? You know, made these bones? You don't want to know what made these bones.
I'm sending your kid out for some coffee. Go! And no cops.
Oh, yeah, I forgot Stan Lee was alive when this movie was made, so that was cool.
I didn't even write anything when he showed up, because by that point I was just like, oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Well, my work is done here.
What do you mean your work is done? You didn't do anything.
Didn't I?
Incidentally, you guys have ruined us. We've decided to give up comics and we're going into showbiz.
One thing I will give the movie is that, like, it doesn't do the typical, like, oh, I'm gonna get back together with you now because, like, that's what I'm obliged to do. The movie ends on an obligatory Eminem credit song, and then it gives credence to the theory that Tom Hardy bases vocal patterns after Eminem.
You were killing me?
And then credits with like Rorschach images happening. There's like pictures of like ink forming to be Venom, and then like pictures of my parents fucking.
Well, I do actually have a few notes about that ending before we move on. One, I like that the ending is just two piles of dark goo fighting in the dark. I don't know who's winning.
Yeah.
I also wrote there was a part where when Eddie like hits Carlton Drake off the thing, he says,
"This is the next stage."
You talk too much.
Don't silence him. My final note was Elton John turd in the wind.
Yeah, quick overview of the plot.
She's like,
the doctor, Jenny Slate, shows up. She's like, I have never done anything wrong ever in my life.
I know this, and I love you.
Earlier in the movie, a lady is getting robbed, and then later he robs the same store, and then now he's Venom because he couldn't do anything earlier when he was a weak baddie.
It seems to me you lived your life.
And I remember when the movie came out, people were like, that's a stupid line. And people were like, it's from the comics. And that does not
make it better.
I know, I did a review of this when it came out, and I said the CGI wasn't good. I said something along those lines. I refused to watch a previous video of mine. I want to say the CGI is not bad. Like, there are parts where it's just like, it's goo. It's gonna look a little weird. But the older I get, I want to make, the older I get, the more I hate the CGI was bad as a complaint. If that's the only thing you can draw your attention to, then the movie was probably pretty good. Like, I get there's occasionally...
Not the case.
Past me. Fuck you.
You know he talks like this.
To bring it down to my central note, the movie tries to be cool at times. It often tries to be cool. But I can't stop thinking about that panel where he just is in a McDonald's and says, "Correct, madam." What if Venom fought a Venom? And also, I love when he sees what Riot looks like, he goes, "That is the ugliest looking thing I have ever seen!" For something that basically just looks like Venom. It feels like a darker version of the Mask movie and a not as dark version of the Mask comics. So it feels like The Mask. I'm the mask, 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 I'm the mask. If there's a place you gotta go, then my dick.
It's a very solid 6 out of 10.
Yeah, it's like, for ragging on it as much as we have, we had to watch. I don't know, we didn't have to watch it. Nobody's telling us to do this. I told Steve to do this.
It's the perfect movie to put on when you're cleaning the house.
That is actually a very good way to describe it. That's how I feel about the movie Wanted. That's a terrible movie, but I like watching that movie. I almost said love.
I like watching Wanted as well.
Two dudes who like Wanted.
That's a guilty pleasure movie, and I could see this very much being that for people. And I mean, fuck guilty pleasures, just like whatever you like. No one should be guilting you for the things you like anyway, unless it's like
Ronnie Radke's rap album.
And I always see my mommy in every woman I meet.
I mean, if you like those AI generated Elsa Venom videos, and then there were also those ones being made by the Slamberry brothers or whatever the fuck their names were.
Slammin'! Yes! Slammin'!
Hello, darkness, my friend.
I mean, if you like that, then you should probably be you should feel very guilty and maybe turn yourself in. But other than that, you certainly could have done worse with a Marvel villain movie. You could have done worse. You could have done a lot worse, especially if it were a vampire character. But thankfully, they never made a Morbius movie.
And it was never played by Jared Leto.
And Jared Leto never existed.
I'll just go live in a fucking cave somewhere.
Well, you speaking of cult leaders,
Venom discovers Osho.
Osho says, when you love someone, you accept the whole.
That is my favorite detail. It's right at the end, and you're just like, wait, what? And I'm surprised that Venom knows what Osho says, because here's a clip of Osho talking. We're going to have to be quiet for a very long time, because it takes this motherfucker 2 days to finish a word.
It is true. In 1989, he changed his name to Osho and accused some of his followers of trying to hurt him with evil magic.
Let there be Cletus. There's a lot of gay subtext.
I was like, how quick are we going to get to this? It starts with them playing Ram Ranch in its entirety, and I thought that was very peculiar.
18 naked cowboys in the showers at Ram Ranch.
It opens on Hell House. Like every time like any movie opens on like a spooky mansion played straight, like I just think of Scary Movie 2.
Do you guys know this one?
Oh, now this is the real shit.
Shake your ass! Watch yourself! Shake your ass! Show me what you're working with!
Oh my god. Especially compared to the last one, this movie looks like fucking shit. Not shot composition, not any of that stuff. It just looks like they color graded it and then put another color grade on top of it, and it looks horrible.
It looks like like 10 Instagram filters on anyone at any given time, but at least like it has like pacing and plot development and character development. Like it does have like style and character.
Oh yeah, for sure. Even the things that I think we didn't necessarily like. There's a weird animated backstory for Cletus Cassidy where Tom Hardy is like clipping through the green screen and shit.
Eaten to the brink of death by Daddy-O.
He looks like the pissing Calvin. Like I think that's how it should have been. Like he just strikes that pose and you're like, oh, Cletus is that guy.
So Calvin, there's an animated sequence where Red Calvin just throws his grandma down the stairs. It's fucking peak.
I've fallen. And I can't get up!
Can we talk about how we see that flashback and he's like, oh, and Cletus pushed Granny down the stairs, and then at the end of the movie he's getting all angry because he's like, you never told him that Granny and Mommy were abusive to Cletus. It's like, I followed your words.
He was the best guy around.
What about the people he murdered?
What murder?
Also, I love at the end of the movie where he says,
I'm not crazy, man.
Motherfucker, what?
Like 6 minutes into the movie, Venom says to Eddie, you're a bottom feeder, but I thought, like, there's like a weird pause, so I thought he said, you're a bottom.
You are a bottom.
But he does say, you blow everything and let me eat him, and I'll give you my life.
I'll give you my life.
What?
Story.
God, I wanted a peanut.
Much like the first one, it feels like certain bits are chopped out. There's a scene where, like, I don't remember if it's where he's telling him, like, his backstory, or if it's after he's, like, discovered, like, they discover where the bodies are.
Yeah.
But they do this transition that seems like it's like we gotta show how Facebook reacts to this.
Yeah.
CK loves FB.
Cletus Cassidy loves Facebook. We find out he does love Facebook because we find out Carnage can hack the fucking internet. Like, I don't care that he can hotwire a car, fine, whatever. My favorite line in this movie is when he kicks the man in the head, just hops behind the counter with the spryness of a man in his 60s. Got any of them internets? And he shoves his fingers into the thing and then the computer goes red and goes into like Carnage vision.
Got any of those internets?
It goes.
And he meets his girlfriend and she, for some reason, doesn't go, oh, Cletus, you've aged like total shit. Cletus's whole motivation for a good chunk of the movie is just,
Do you want to make love to a sad old man? Dip my dick in the salsa dip.
Where he's doing all that shit and Ben's like, no, and like that was a legitimately good like physical comedy scene, like that actually got a legitimate laugh out of me.
Yeah.
Oh, I know this one. It's a tree.
Another moment later in the movie that got a legitimate laugh for me is when he's like going in and he just like yells at Venom and the lady's like, you suck!
Excuse me?
Yeah, wow. I don't have an explanation for that. I think I'm having a panic attack.
Yeah, let's let this guy in the room. Nothing bad will happen. I just realized that I was talking about how the fucking symbiote, like the Null, that guy
kicks ass.
He looks like fucking Matt Smith in House of the Dragon. And I legitimately blocked Morbius out of my memory so much that I forgot that he's the fucking villain in Morbius.
Have sex. Put my best.
The villain in what?
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 A funny thing happened to me. Use a pen.
And then he bites him, and then Eddie gives Cletus space aids.
I wrote my notes. That is the one scene in the whole movie where I think like Woody's performance as Cletus is like really consistent and good. This is the most nerd ranty I'm gonna get about anything in all this. But in the comics, Carnage and Cletus, they're not two separate, like, entities. In the movie, after an initial scene where it seems like, okay, I guess that's just what they're doing, Carnage and Woody start talking to each other. They just immediately fuck that up.
I need you to help me find something I lost.
Then, at the very end, the entire ending hinges on the fact that they fucked up how they did Carnage from the comics, because Venom's just like trapped in and I'm pretty sure he got trapped by editing. I don't know that I ever saw rubble fall on him.
You're not a match.
We are.
And that gives him the strength to go up there and fight Carnage.
To fight Josh Homme from Queens of the Stone Age.
Yes. Oh look, he's got a new wig. It'll be the best of the 3 wigs he has. He's just like a theater fucking kid.
Yeah.
He just keeps quoting fucking weird shit. And then Eminem wrote like a little rap break for him to do later where he talks about the warden tasting like ham.
I walk out a wiser, stronger man. And Warden, you tasted just like ham.
His breakout scene's like half cool, and then he just becomes like the Tasmanian devil.
He's about to eat a guy, and then the PG-13 alarm starts blaring, and then he makes out with the corrections officer, and then he turns into like the blood tornado from Blade.
I'm convinced that the movie's color grade, like just the way it looks, is because they realized after the fact they made a blood villain in a movie that was supposed to be like PG-13.
Blood. 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 And bits of sick.
This is just the only time I'm gonna remember this. There's a very strange cameo in the movie. If you're watching this, there's a good chance you might also be a fan of Your Movie Sucks. If you remember in his old videos, he would sometimes play this song I'm gonna play like 3 seconds of before the content ID bots come and kill my wife. And that guy's just in the movie for exactly 2 shots. I don't know why. He has an acting section on his Wikipedia page. It's exactly this long. I don't know why he's there. We know that I cow and I need funny power. Like, I get why they cast Woody Harrelson. I mean, he's a good actor, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But like, I get like, they wanted to do like a Natural Born Killers thing. And like, oh, can you just do Natural Born Killers, but now you've got like an alien up your ass.
He has one up his ass too.
I just love any award show with Woody Harrelson. It looks like he just genuinely doesn't want to be there, so he gets as ripped as possible.
But yeah, a woman approaches Venom, and then he's like, not my type. I'm out of the Eddie closet. I also want to cut back to when they first find the bodies, and Detective Joel Edgerton is like getting all angry, and like he crumples up the newspaper, and like he kicks the trash can. Fun fact, he broke his toe doing that. Oh, I'm confusing him with Aragorn.
That scream of pain he lets out in the movie, that was real because he found out he was in Venom, Let There Be Carnage.
50-ish minutes in, the detective starts talking like a Batman henchman.
She's dead. I shot her.
Uncle Ben, I shot him.
Spider-Man triple action web blaster. For whatever reason, Cletus and the lady let the detective and Anne live. I mean, I get Anne, like, she's a bargaining chip.
That's part of my favorite things for the ending. They set up that, like, Shriek, who is called Shriek in one scene and never again, or before. She wants to kill that cop because he gave her, like, a colored contact when they were younger. And Carnage wants to kill Venom because he's his father or something. And Cletus wants to kill Eddie because he also wants to fuck him or something. I don't really know what's going on. Oh, also, it leads to a great comedy moment that I'm going to loop endlessly here.
Death to you, Father.
No!
Not you, Father. You, Father. Oh, shit! Not you, Father. You, Father.
No.
Not you, Father. You, Father. Not you, Father. You, Father.
That's stupid. You'll never be happy. 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 You'll never be happy.
Not you, Father. You, Father.
Me family, you family.
Me dog, you dog.
And fucking Shriek gets all upset because she's like, no, that's too much. You can't kill that lady. Even though
They've been murdering people.
They've been murdering people the whole fucking movie, and I think she kidnapped her too.
Yeah.
And delivered her to a serial killer.
What did you think was gonna happen?
Yeah. And the whole plot hinges on them not being a good match, which is the opposite of the comics. And I just love it. It's so fucking funny that Carnage is just fully, he's like, oh yeah, sure, I'll help you with this plan. We're a good match, whatever. And then the second Shriek starts using her powers, it's like, fucking stop, make her stop doing that.
Venom pimp slaps her into a church bell, and then she almost catches it for survival preservation. And then in her dying, like, last few seconds on Earth, she decides to scream into it.
I hope they're still making that El Muerto movie that they like announced once with Bad Bunny, and even he's been like, I don't fucking know anything about that.
So they have the big dumb CGI fight at the end. It actually wasn't the worst, but I was kind of not paying attention.
Well, I like when the rock music just starts kicking in the second that he's like, okay, and he just starts fucking falling over like church pews and shit like that.
We are going to die.
Cowboys in the showers at Ram Ranch on their knees wanting to suck cowboy cocks.
The ending's a lot easier to follow what's happening than the first movie because at least they made one of them a different color.
Yeah. As Eddie's about to hit the ground and die, the symbiote drops off of him. It goes through Ann, passes through Dan, and then catches Eddie at the last second to like kind of cushion the blow. It's like you could have not done any of that.
For some reason, how we talked about the first movie reminding us of Ghost Rider, this movie, at least in the ending, reminds me of Daredevil. Which is very funny because
come on, Daredevil!
Daredevil! It's very funny because those movies are directed by the same guy. We let that guy do that twice. Yeah, so that's mainly what I wanted to say. I also love that Carnage says,
"Let there be carnage."
But that's not a thing people say.
Let there be
Cletus.
Earlier I talked about like the dark reflection thing a bit, right? At the very least, in Spider-Man 3, they did this trope right, or at least attempted to, with Brock being the world's biggest fucking hater and he asking God to kill fucking Peter Parker. We truly do live in a dark timeline where we got the last season of that 70s show being god-awful, and then Spider-Man 3 being Spider-Man 3.
They should have just got the guy who played Randy to play Venom.
If you name a city, I can tell you the time zone.
You're trash, Brock.
If you name a city, I can tell you the city.
Halfway through the movie.
They just switch them out. In addition to, like, just botching, like, the only thing I really find cool about Carnage, they also introduce another character, Toxin, who I've read his solo comic. There might be more than one now, but if you find Toxin the Devil, you know, actually really good art.
Toxin the Devil all the time.
Yes.
Was a delusion that would have kept him from saving us.
I literally wrote at several points in my notes, I don't even care that he's Toxin, I just fucking hate this. And at the very end, I guess they set up that at some point he got a symbiote on him.
What the hell am I looking at? When does this happen in the movie? Now.
Monsters.
The post-credit scene has the setup to No Way Home where like he sees a twink on screen and he licks it and he's like, oh, let's go check that out. And then that goes nowhere because he just hangs out at the hotel bar and gets drunk.
We are drunk.
I love that his first instinct into going into a new universe is just immediately get drunk.
You see Let There Be Carnage and you see the after credits scene, you're like, oh, is he gonna be in No Way Home? No. And I guess we got a sequel like set up for maybe there's a symbiote still I could get on Tom Holland. And it's just gotta be like, hey, I was attached to a different guy. You think I can find that guy in this universe too?
You think I can find Topher Grace?
I would say overall, I think Let There Be Carnage is a more enjoyable movie. It's brisker. They pull off like I said, they got some legitimate laughs out of me. You can at least tell the villains apart. Woody Harrelson is fun. I don't know, the song at the end, they should have just got Eminem back to be like, Carnage!
Carnage is one sign of a carnage. Gotta drive the carnage. Gonna eat some garbage and be carnage. Charged one of terrorism was an American hunter killer who was convicted of assassinating a federal judge. Was the father of actual winning Harrison.
But that's not qual.
Okay, so I'm really sorry that I'm adding this in last minute and making this video even longer and making it come out even later than it was supposed to, but I just found out about this deleted scene from Let There Be Carnage and oh my god. Why did they cut this scene out of the movie?
Eddie Brock, son of a bitch!
Okay, so in this scene, they set up like crucial pieces of information that I specifically noted in the review that I felt were missing, and now I have confirmation that that is absolutely true. They are missing. They were there originally, and then they cut them out of the movie.
Son of a bitch!
You see, this scene sets up like Carnage's motivation, what he's trying to do, and what he's trying to accomplish.
All else that is not of our blood must be expelled.
Blood? And why he hates Venom. It even seems like it sort of sparks the whole thing of him considering Venom his father because Cletus brings it up.
Isn't Eddie Brock's monster your father?
I will eat your face.
Sorry. And so it seems like that is what sparked that, and you could even see like the start of Shriek's hesitancy in this whole plan. She loves Cletus, but whatever Carnage is talking about clearly doesn't work for her. A lot of this makes more sense, and I would argue even makes the movie better as a movie. Overall, I really can't see the reasoning for cutting this out of the movie other than just to make the movie shorter. Or at least I'm mostly confused. There is an element to it that feels a bit more obvious in why they didn't include it in the movie. Now I remember in the lead up to this, Woody Harrelson was talking about how hard it was for him to find his voice for Carnage.
Baby, don't hurt me.
And I thought this was a little confusing because Carnage barely has any lines in the movie.
Let there be.
This scene makes things a little bit clearer with what he was talking about, because Carnage just sounds like Macho Man Randy Savage.
We can create a new race, part human, part symbiote.
That's not Carnage, that's not a symbiote man, that's a wrestler man, and he was the cream of the crop, and the cream rises to the top, and it's enough to get him to the boiling point. So yeah, I don't really have anything else to add about this scene. I just thought that was funny, and I kind of talked about some of these issues in the review proper, so it was weird to find this scene well after the fact and find out that, no, wait, they did it right, and then somebody cut it out. What?
Nothing means nothing.
Nothing means nothing. What do you mean by that?
More, I'm talking about all the way to the top, yeah. Unjustifiably in a position that I'd rather not be in.
All the symbiotes now know about Osho, which means we just gotta fucking burn both their planet and ours. We can't, like, have them knowing about this shit. Not very good movies. Not the worst movies.
The second one's fun. Watch the second one. Just skip straight to it. Don't even bother with the first one.
Yeah, honestly, I would say if you're gonna watch these, watch the second one. You don't really need any information from the first one. And again, it's just one of those movies where the guy, the hero, the person the movie's named after just does not show up for like an hour.
In a weird way, the first Venom has a lot in common with the 70s Spider-Man pilot.
Oh.
And that he doesn't become Spider-Man for a really long time.
And then once he does, he just keeps falling off roofs.
One with me on them cold block nights, now you front row for the spotlight.
Wait a minute. Those movies didn't feature Spider-Man at all.
Yeah, kind of a massive miscalculation on Sony's part.
Well, it's a good thing they learned from that and never made a Spider-Man movie focusing on the Spider-Man villain without featuring Spider-Man in it at all.
I agree, it is good that that happened.
Who the hell are you, Matt?
I am
nothing!
Now why don't we watch an episode of 70s Spider-Man to make up for it?
You'll never be happy. You'll never be happy. You'll never be happy. You'll never be happy.
I actually have to go?
But Steve, you can't go. I'm you and you're me.
You're me and I'm you?
That's right, Steve. I'm you and you're me and this is a gun.
That's a shoe.
So you've played Gunny Shoey before.
Is that what we're doing? We're just recycling old Simpsons bits?
Sit the fuck down!
As you know, this is Too Many Spider-Man. In the first Too Many Spider-Man, we watched a little gem called 70s Spider-Man TV pilot. Let's cut back to some reference footage.
Clown.
Probably wasn't a good idea to have alcohol there, now was it? We wanted to revisit that because, of course, it's important to this whole thing, but we didn't want to get hammered or fall asleep, so I've thought of a little workaround that we're going to partake in. Welcome to Spider-Man Trivia! Almost exclusively about one of the least liked parts of Spider-Man lore.
Preview.
We are going to be talking predominantly about the Clone Saga. While an episode about clones that is based off like the original like story that a clone appeared in happens, it's not it doesn't fucking matter. Are you ready, Steve, to do Spider-Man trivia?
I left my dog in the oven.
But anyway, we're gonna get started. Who was responsible for creating clones in The Amazing Spider-Man? A. Miles Warren. B. Miles Morales. C. Miles Davis. D. It just says Miles.
Miles Kennedy.
It was actually John F. Kennedy who originally started the cloning program.
President Kennedy sat up and looked around and said, "I'm back, motherfuckers."
The correct answer is A. Miles Warren, also known as the Jackal, because everybody in Peter Parker's life has also got to just have like an animal motif going, I guess. Next question. In the Ultimate Clone Saga, which character was revealed to be a new incarnation of Carnage? Was it A. George Stacy, B. Gwen Stacy, C. Aunt May, or D. Peter Parker after being injected with something like his own blood, and also I think it was a symbiote or something, his father's something, it happened in a cutscene, and then you revisit that scene later, something.
That last one sounds like the most likely answer.
Oh, sorry, that was the plot of the Ultimate Spider-Man video game, but in the comic it was Gwen Stacy.
Got it.
So you are still at 0 points.
Damn it.
So next question. Why did the Jackal throw a failed clone of Peter Parker's body into a smokestack to trick Peter down the line? No, I'm asking you, why did that happen?
Why is he called the Jackal?
Because he dresses up like the Green Goblin.
But the Green Goblin dresses up like the Green Goblin.
Yeah, you'd think they would have thought about that at some point. Here is the final question, worth more points than any other question I've asked so far, making this a very poorly thought out quiz. Why did the Clone Saga happen? Was it A. Spider-Man got cloned? B. They were tired of writing Peter Parker stories? C. Something, Madam Web? Or D, a bunch of editorial decisions that stretched what was initially supposed to be a relatively normal length story arc into a massive thing that was constantly being pushed back against because of the revelations that fans hated and perhaps fatigue.
And this is a gun. Now hold it, Mr. Jameson, just like that. One more.
Oh. It's over. Yeah, I wasn't paying attention to any of that. Who's the Jackal? Why was there skeletons? Skeletons aren't real. Spider-Man's real.
What is it about this show that makes paying attention utterly impossible? Also, why were May and Jonah different people?
I can't possibly think why old people will stop showing up on the show.
We're right back to where we were last time we did this. Except there's significantly less bow propeller murder.
It's time to bust out the contingency plan.
You don't mean.
Oh, I mean.
An emissary from hell! Find Peter Parker!
Okay, so a bunch of things happen, and we're different people now, and I'm not going to elaborate at all. Now, Steve, what can you tell us about Japanese Spider-Man?
Yeah, yeah! Wow! Yeah, yeah! Wow!
Yeah, yeah, yeah! Wow!
Japanese Spider-Man is the result of copyright, like, gray areas, and also probably drugs.
Do drugs!
It's a result of post-World War II censorship.
Mushi Productions then made Astro Boy, which ended up in fan service at some point, which made hentai. But wait, there is more. Hitler allied with Japan.
So yeah, as you can see, we've both lost our minds a little bit, maybe subjecting ourselves to Venom, and then like 70s Spider-Man just kind of broke us. Much the way we did last time, where we ended on something from another nation that just does Spider-Man so much better than we could possibly do Spider-Man. We thought it'd be best to end on the pinnacle of Spider-Man media from places that aren't here. I believe everybody has said they love this, like Stan Lee said he loves this, Steve Ditko's Ghost has said he loves this,
Steve Rodriguez said he loves this,
Steve Garcia has said he loves this.
The entire, like, house, the front of the house is on fire. All the flames are coming.
I love the subtitles to clarify that he's saying, yeah, yeah, wow.
Lyrics to the main title theme are the most, like, oppressive and depressive fucking things ever. Oh yeah, how should I go on? Spider-Man! Like, these are poignant things for him to ask himself.
Why do you do this, Spider-Man, with only one goal? With only one goal. The Invincible Man, Spider-Man.
He can die.
And he fell to his death.
Much the way, oh, I hate spiders, why they gotta show them.
There are spiders in your walls.
Much the way that Italian Spider-Man starts with just fucking the amazing, like, just most amazing intro ever. Japanese Spider-Man starts off with an awesome intro and also makes it very clear that Japanese Spider-Man has like a psychic link with a spider, and there's a robot, and he has a gun, and he's an emissary from hell.
Spider-Man!
And he fights Darth Vader.
And he fights Darth Vader.
Who are you?
I'm from hell!
All of the climbing effects and web effects somehow look miles better than anything in the American show, while not being Spider-Man necessarily. I didn't mean to do the thing when I said that, but while not necessarily being Spider-Man in full form to the comics, it's definitely fucking interesting.
His name is not Peter Parker, it's Takuya Yamashiro. In the first episode, like, he has like a whole family, but his dad died, which is like basically the same catalyst. His dad is going to do this big important thing, and he's like, oh yeah, no, like, I'm gonna go do a cool bicycle race.
I want to ride my bicycle.
I should probably go, like, my dad needs me. So he goes, and then his dad dies, he feels bad about it. He immediately knows how to swing on webs convincingly, as opposed to, like, shittily on a tree, which I appreciate.
The true test of my power, I will swing on this tree!
Will I climb up the tree and swing from there? No, sir. I will climb up on this hill. And you know what? It works out, because not only does he become Spider-Man within the first, like, act, but he also has, like, a mentor figure. He has all the important stuff just out of the way, so, you know, it's good.
It's like the Shazam show, where he instantly just has a mentor whose name is Mentor, and he drives him around in an RV that just has the Shazam lightning bolt on the front of the RV. Please don't ever ask me to watch that show. I had to make it through 70s Spider-Man. I don't know if I can make it through any more 70s media.
Billy has been granted the power by the Immortals to summon awesome forces at the utterance of a single word.
It was like one of the first tokusatsu of its kind in order to influence Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, or the thing that would become translated to the West as Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So According to this Screen Rant,
betrayal!
While radically different from American Spider-Man, in what way? This alternate
No,
Spidey...
American Spider-Man had the Marveler. Okay, so the movie is also 24 minutes long. I know the thing we watched, the reason it's so long is because it's like 3 episodes or something put together for like the premiere.
If I was a Spider-Man fan in the 70s and I had to suffer through fucking 2 episodes of him not being Spider-Man, I would fucking kill myself.
Spider-Man, ride the Spider Machine, GP7.
Take your spider pills. I gotta take my spider pills.
See, that's the great thing about Japanese Spider-Man, is it's like all the jokes we made about the 70s Spider-Man show, if they were real. He might have spider pills. Where we had nothing to talk about with 70s Spider-Man. We have so much to talk about with Japanese Spider-Man, because they just crammed so much into an episode.
It's like, oh yeah, there's like these objectively evil dudes from space that have been culminating a plan to take over the universe for 400 years. So you have powers from the planet Spider. It's like, yeah, alright, I'm on board.
People might not know the origin of Spider-Man. So we could just do whatever the fuck we want. I haven't been looking at any camera this entire episode. I've just been staring off into the distance. I got so good at actually remembering to look at the camera when I shoot videos, and this video has just derailed it entirely. Maybe because you're wearing a shirt that says slut in the Shrek font. I don't know if we've talked about that.
There are spiders on your walls.
I admire this dance number with what the fuck's going on.
Everything comes in 3s, including jump cuts to henchmen backflipping.
The title cards are great on this show, by the way, because sometimes
the second one is a giant robot.
Sometimes when you go to commercial, it's Spider-Man, and sometimes when you cut back to commercial, it's a giant robot. So if you're not versed in what the fuck's going on, you might be a little confused. Do you think this is the precursor to Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark, where they have people just do all these legitimately dangerous stunts, and they're like, who cares if you fall like 20 stories?
Stuntman Christopher Tierney, playing Spider-Man, leaned over the edge of a platform and plunged about 30 feet.
This is honestly what playing the Spider-Man video game is like, in that I don't entirely know what's happening. Have you played the Spider-Man video game?
Yeah, it's fucking awesome.
It was really fucking good. I had to wait until it came onto PC to play it. He's piloting a robot, and also the guy he's fighting exploded. Like, he just threw a sword at a man, or at an octopus, and he exploded. It says to be continued. The credits are happening. Spider Machine. We're not even talking about Spider-Man anymore. We're just talking about the general criticisms of the MCU.
When were we talking about Spider-Man in the Spider-Man video? The movies we were watching had nothing to do with fucking Spider-Man. Everything's fucking degraded into nothing.
We could have done worse. We could have watched like a bootleg rip of Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark, which is literally the namesake of this series, sub-series. I don't know what this is. But the namesake of this is a joking Kimmy Schmidt.
Look! There they are! All 50 Spider-Man!
And we still haven't talked about Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark. And I hope to God there's not a full upload to that show somewhere, because I do not want to. Whenever they release Across the Spider-Verse 2 or whatever the fuck that's gonna be called, you know we're gonna be back here. Might not be this exact location.
They have the full HD upload.
Oh, fucking Christ. I don't want to hear Bono and the Edge sing about what it's like to be Spider-Man.
Subscribe to Ace Backspace, everybody.
I'm gonna fucking kill myself.
Subscribe to the Patreon if you haven't already. And please tune in to the next episode, whenever that may be.
I shove my fucking hands in the computer and I'm gonna become the computer.
With so much Spider-Man media out there, it's no wonder that the character has resonated with so many people and also had a big robot.
But good or bad, we can all agree on one thing. They never made a Morbius movie.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Happy Halloween.
What?
Get the fuck out of your house.
Here he comes, he can rock, he can break dance, and he can break dance.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching this one. I know I said that in the video proper, but That's kind of what I say here. Thanks to Steve for helping out with that. If you want to follow me on the socials, you know, those are on the screen or down there or someplace. They'll be somewhere. If you want to go over and follow my music channel... Fuckity bye. Oh, okay, you gone? Said you specifically put you in the spot so you could be in the end card because you've been annoying, like, all day. Head on over to Patreon if you want to get some cool rewards, like your name on this end screen here. Big thanks to my patrons again. Couldn't be doing this stuff without you guys. Oh, so you want to come here and Zelda left, so you're gonna show up. Got my book coming out soon, got a movie coming out soon, and working on the first Atari+Mari album.
Do you see a cat? Do you see a hat? Do you see a man with a baseball bat?
Lots of cool stuff coming out. A lot of it's gonna be on this channel and over at the Atari+Mari channel, so I hope you'll stick around and check it out. I know. The longer cats keep walking into my shots, the longer I can't open the windows. It pollutes the noise, buddy. Also, I have a website. Kinda always had a website, but I never really talk about it in these videos. And on that website, you can find links to my Fiverr page, where I will do things for you if you pay me. You know, like, legal things. Not an excessive amount of butt stuff is the main point. But you didn't like that joke? And you can also find a link to my Zazzle page where I've started making merch again, because, I don't know, sometimes I just make art and I don't really do anything with it, so now I've started repurposing some of that into shirts and hats and lots of cool stuff. Maybe it's on the screen, I don't know, but I'll put all that stuff in the links below. Yeah, so I'm gonna wrap up here before this gets any longer. Thanks so much again, and I hope to see you in the next video. Why am I doing a thumbs up? That's not a thing I do. You look very sleepy.
Probably don't make a Venom movie. Probably don't make a movie about a Spider-Man villain and then not have Spider-Man in it. God damn it, why did somebody upload the whole fucking Turn Off the Dark? I'm gonna have to fucking talk about that. Steve's gonna have to fucking talk about it. I'm gonna point him up at gunpoint. We're gonna have to fucking talk about it. Good night, everyone.
You have a brain tumor, Eddie. You have a brain tumor, Eddie. You have a brain tumor, Eddie. You have a brain tumor.